Nightmare power and the return of a final god of pain. The final shape mentions this, and today we break down everything you need to know. Is another darkness power on the way? And will Nezarec return and lead a new army? He is alive, so let's discuss. Nightmares. We learned about them in Shadowkeep on the Moon and how they torment their subjects. They were defense mechanisms and darkness abominations created to feed on fear and pain. This was further explored aboard the derelict Leviathan in Season of the Haunted. But in the final shape, we get an update on Nightmare power and the leader who was most notorious for using it. Micah 10 has a bunch of missions where you go out there and retrieve ghosts around the system, bring them back to the Traveler so they can help it heal. In one of her missions, we search for a ghost named Link. And as we go through the Moon and the Hellmouth, we get some more info on nightmares. Ghost tells Cade what we learned about them since Shadowkeep and beyond, and they're not really a threat anymore. But other dialogue is interesting. Listen to this.
Oh man, this guy? Come on, Guardian, put one in his belly for me.
I'm picking up signs that Link was here. It looks like he was examining the nightmares, scanning them.
Maybe he was trying to figure out where they come from.
Oh, we already know that, Cade. We figured that out years ago. They're not much of a threat anymore.
Oh, yeah, right. No, that makes sense. That's, good work, everybody.
We then need to find a scholar ghost named Balthazar who goes lost on the Moon as well, who had some data that Micah found strange. Balthazar went to Nezarec's pyramid.
Guardian, I have telemetric data for the ghost Balthazar. He's an old friend of Peach, the first ghost you recruited. Balthazar is a scholar ghost like Anwar, but usually not as daring in field work. Which makes my discovery of his telemetric data on the Moon all the more concerning. I was afraid of this. The reason I was unable to pinpoint Balthazar's location is because it is smothered in darkness.
He's in the pyramid, isn't he?
Unfortunately, yes. You'll need to fight through the hive to get to the pyramid, then brave its security system.
Nightmares. I thought after we killed Nezarec that they'd go away. But they haven't. The pyramid must be partially responsible for them too.
Harris wrote extensive documentation on nightmares after her last encounter with them. She and I believe that they are a yet untapped power of the darkness. One that Nezarec co-opted for himself and wove into the fabric of his pyramid.
So even after his death, they persist.
Which raises a larger question. Is Nezarec truly dead? Can something that exists as an idea ever be destroyed?
One nightmare at a time, Micah. Please. The last time we entered the pyramid like this, the witness spoke through me. Now, I don't feel it at all. It's strange. I once felt the witness's presence so overwhelming here, but now it's hardly a whisper. The pyramid feels different. Abandoned. Hungry. Or, no, yearning. Like it has a mind of its own. And it misses having a master.
The witness's presence in the Pale Heart has made our actions go unseen. It is vulnerable, and perhaps that is what Balthazar was exploiting.
Ghost suggests that nightmares that remain may be connected to the pyramid here, and darkness itself. Makes sense when you think about it. Nezarec had the power of nightmares, but he got it from somewhere else, somehow. Eris and Micah believe that Nezarec was one of the first to discover or acquire this nightmare power. They also wonder if Nezarec is still alive. The pyramid is said to have a mind of its own through darkness and longs for a new leader. We also see a recorded message from long ago from the witness to Nezarec. learning about how the final god of pain tormented the Scions in the distant past, and how the Veil seemed to be involved.
The Scions kneel to you. Their faith is shattered, and they will look to you for guidance, for truth.
No. How is it here? Wait.
Sow the seeds of discord that will pave the way for our victory. Preach unto their greatest the truth of the darkness, so they may see beyond the veil.
This isn't now. This is some kind of recording. A memory.
Go forth, Nezarec, and show them the power of the veil, the dark of the deep, the edge of the night.
This must be what Balthazar was trying to find. Information on the witness recorded in an artifact.
I can sense Balthazar's location. I don't think he's far. Let's get out of here and go get him.
And maybe something in this archival sphere will be of use too. There's also the matter of the archive Balthazar found. I've only just started to examine it, but it feels dense with information. Nothing in the archive is recorded as words, more experiences and emotions. It's going to take a long time to investigate. Excellent work, Guardian.
Nezarec was the main disciple of the Witness that led the first collapse on Earth. Savathun betrayed him, cursed his remains, and his pyramid crashed on the moon. Parts of his essence would still exist though, through remains scattered across relics in space. The Guardians came close to many of these back in Season of Plunder. Mithrax also got cursed by the remains of Nezarec. We'll probably see that explored in a future episode. But just before Lightfall, the Witness acquired Nezarec's head, and when the Traveler blasted that pyramid in Lightfall, it revived Nezarec, who instantly began to torture the Neomuni in the digital cloud arcs of Neptune.
So much pain and fear within the darkness here. It's so satisfying. I will consume it once more.
Did you both hear that? Was that the voice the citizens have been mentioning?
This is far too similar to the nightmares we encountered on the Leviathan.
I know it's a lot, but in the raid for that expansion, we then fought through to cobble his body back together and defeat him, but it likely wasn't enough. So Nezarec found nightmare power and shared it with his lunar pyramid. We killed him, but he still exists, just not physically. He talked to us after his death, and as long as thoughts of him are in people's minds haunting them, he'll still exist. The big question just is, what's the next form he might emerge in? Will he return with nightmare power as a true and all-powerful final god of pain instead of what we saw in that raid? His imprint was used to create tormentors and maybe even some other dread, so maybe they go that route, nightmare dread leader.
If I had a modicum of my original power, I'd have killed one or three of those citizens to expedite your arrival. Instead, I suffer from the incompetence of these new recruits.
The power of nightmares seems to exist in multiple places though. Beyond Nezarec, in Lightfall Collector's Edition lore, we learn that the European Pyramid also manifested nightmares. Characters like Zavala, Crow, Kydal experience nightmares back in Haunted, but also do in the final shape, inside the Traveler. Those nightmares still pulling on the heartstrings of characters like Zavala.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back. But when the Witness offered me an eternity here with you, with our son, I know you understand why I refused.
So the power is definitely out there. Nezarec is known for using it, but interesting considering it was also on Europa, and Ghost described pyramids as having a mind of their own. Or did. It was believed the witness's consciousness seemed to connect to pyramids that weren't piloted by disciples, allowing for control, but now some of them long for a new leader, like the one on the moon. In Haunted, Callus tried to connect his Leviathan to the lunar pyramid, and what happened? Nightmares on the Leviathan. Eris called Callus the harbinger of the second collapse back then. He was binding to darkness, to the witness, and if he succeeded there on the moon, might have taken the role Nezarec was supposed to have in the first collapse, even some of his lunar power.
It is no mere curiosity that drew him to the lunar pyramid. He is a consciousness that spreads out like a vascular system, and he is attempting to become one with the pyramid so that he may control it, so that he may wield its power. Worse, it appears as though Callus is not doing so of his own volition. He is doing it at the behest of another, our true enemy, the voice in the darkness, the witness.
So most of these Micah missions set up interesting plot lines for future stories. Some may be used, some not, but bringing back up nightmares and a new untapped power of darkness will definitely get the community thinking. Especially since we have Prismatic now, where they introduce a darkness power again after the apparent conclusion of the Light and Darkness saga.
The darkness then is revealed in many facets. Dreams and nightmares, emotions, pain, memory.
I can't remember where, but I believe recently I heard a Bungie dev mention that leaked subclass video from last year was apparently fake. Question is, what part of it was fake, because I thought a Bungie employee posted it themselves. Maybe it was fake as in it wasn't a new subclass, just testing for early Prismatic builds. Maybe a third Darkness subclass does exist, that just wasn't it. Or maybe it doesn't exist at all. Nothing may happen with these nightmares, but speculation is part of the fun, especially when they add new missions like this. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like it, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.